Oh yeah, we're back at it again. So here's the deal. We thought we were being wise about this and doing a Instagram live and realized that it wasn't recording. It did a live Instagram, but it didn't save it so we can repost it on Facebook Live. So guess what? Round 2. Yep. All right,
back at it again.
Back at it again.
Yes, sir.
So hey, I'm here with my man Daniel, ATP Nutrition.
What's going on, guys? Good to be here. Thanks for coming out, man.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother.
Hey, with the stuff that you guys miss off camera, I really wish I could. I really wish I would have recorded it, because this dude has so much knowledge and so much in his tank that you're missing out on if you don't touch bases with this guy. You're missing out. All right. I'm here to do, I'm here to talk about Phoenician Classic, but here's the deal. We get a double whammy with this kid for the simple reason that he's a chemist. All right. Yep. So not only he's a coach, he's also a chemist. All right. He owns ATP Nutrition. All right. He's a chemist. He has everything possibly that can make a coach well-rounded. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the coaching aspect of this. We'll circle back on the chemistry part of this. But you might have to tune into next week for that portion of it, all right? So, Daniel, we're 18 weeks out from the Phoenician Classic. What are like your top 3, top 5 things that a male competitor, like a male physique competitor, should take care of when they're about 18 weeks out from a show?
So, top 3 things, I would say the number one most important thing, period, plain and simple. It doesn't matter if you're a male physique competitor. It doesn't matter if you're, a female competitor. It doesn't matter if you do bodybuilding, classic physique. It doesn't matter if you do any of that stuff. The number one thing that I would always recommend is, mindset. Get your mind right. Your mindset dictates your performance and just everything that you do. And I've noticed there's kind of a trend of competitors that'll go in with the mindset of, as long as I bring the best package I can to the stage, then, in my eyes, I win. Or, as long as I look better than I did yesterday, then I win. Or, as long as I'm always progressing for me, just for me, then I win.
All right.
I think that kind of cultivates a mindset where you're psyching yourself out. In the back of your mind, if you're saying that you're not going for number 1, then I believe that you're setting yourself up kind of to be ready to, to get those lower placements. So you're not going to go in as fierce with that number 1 attitude. You're not going to go in as fierce and train as fierce as you would if you truly believe that I am number 1. And the thing is about training to be number 1, to really believe that you are number 1, is that you go in there, and even if you end up number 5, you're still going to end up doing better than you did with the I am number 1 mindset. You're going to bring a better package because you're going to train harder. You're going to work harder. You're going to be putting your energy into everything, and I am number 1. You know what I'm saying? So when you're knocking out your training, you're getting those extra reps in, the pain starts to set in. You know what I'm saying? When the lactic acid starts to set in, the pain, it hurts, your reps, it all hurts. You're going to be thinking in your head, I am number 1, so you're going to blast through that pain. You're going to sit down, I'm bringing number 1, I'm going for number 1. Cutthroat, dude, just be cutthroat. You know what I mean? Like, sit down and meal prep and eat like you are number 1. I think that people, when they don't bring that number 1, that competitive attitude, that competitive drive to it, I feel like they're selling themselves short. Sure, you're playing damage control, and I know that it's hard on a competitor's mind to go up and have high hopes. And I think that they kind of go in with an ego that's a little bit fragile. Maybe that's not the best way to explain it, but they kind of go in and they're setting themselves up, to prepare to not come in with the top placing that they want.
Right.
But in my mind, it's just as easy to go up and say, I'm number 1, and then if you get number 5, or you come in 10th, or you come in 23rd, play damage control then. But until then, believe that you are number 1 the entire time. Because, like we said in the last video, right. Some of the best competitors to ever grace the stage, even like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I mean? He went in and he was number 1, period. He specifically said in a lot of his articles, interviews and stuff, is if he doesn't believe he can be number 1, then why is he doing it? You know what I mean?
Straight up, yeah.
So if he doesn't believe that he can go in and beat everybody else, if he doesn't have that belief in himself, then why is he doing it? So I think, mindset is huge. You got to go in with that belief, the belief in yourself. You don't even have to sound arrogant and tell people, yo, I'm number one. You know what I mean? You don't have to have that.
Right.
But at least in your head, believe in yourself first and foremost in everything that you do. You know what I mean? I'm number one. So then that way, when things get a little bit harder, you are striving for that excellence. Things are getting hard. You're on your 7th meal and you're like, you don't want to eat again. You don't want to, or your calories are super limited and you're like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I'm number one. That's why I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, then you step on stage, you go for that number one title. You're still going to bring that best package. You're still going to look fucking awesome. And, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Keep firing away. You're good, Daniel.
You're still going to bring that package that's better than what you had last time, because this time you trained to beat number one. You looked at who took number one last week or last year or last time they stepped on stage. That's who you're trying to beat. That's your competition. So if you're trying to excel to beat number one, you're going to come in better than you did before. Then if you get fourth, play damage control. Then you can tell yourself, I went for number one. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't leave anything in the tank. I didn't have that low level of disbelief in the back of my head that was like, I'm just going to bring my best No. Number one. I am number one, period. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that would be number one, and that's going to trickle into like 2 and 3 and the rest of them. But I would say the number 2 thing is focus on protein. Protein, as far as all the research that I've done, and a lot of new emerging data that's coming out, you can low carb, low fat, moderate carb, moderate fat, high carb, low fat, do whatever you want. But one thing that needs to remain consistent is protein. Right. You know what I mean? As long as you can set your protein static, always listen to your coach. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that ties in with 2. Always listen to your coach. So like if I'm saying something and your coach disagrees, go by what your coach is saying, because he's training you. Don't and don't get it in the back of your head, well, what about what this guy said? Finish out your prep or whatever. If you want to look into different things later on once you're done, do that. But whatever I say, just listen to your coach. But my opinion, based on the research and everything I've done myself, working with clients, all that kind of stuff, protein. Protein is huge for diet.
Absolutely.
And then make sure you're getting adequate recovery. As far as supplements go, we'll touch on that a little bit next week.
Absolutely.
But you got to hit recovery hard, because if you're not recovering, then you're not going to grow. So I mean, everything we do, you have your degree and all this. You know how it works. We break down muscle tissue to build it back up. If you're not getting adequate recovery, then I mean,
nothing happens.
Yeah, it's not going to work out the way you want it to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So there you have it. 2 main things, all right? Well, three. Mindset. Your mindset will trickle down into everything else.
Positive energy is everything.
Train to be number one. So it's almost like you're not leaving anything on the table, all right? Mm-hmm. If you're going into it saying, I'm the guy to beat or I'm the girl to beat, you will train like you're supposed to. You will eat like you're supposed to. You will recover and rest like you're supposed to. All right? Because you're not going to leave anything on the table. You're not going to leave that doubt in the back of your head, say, I'm just going to beat my better self. All right? You've eliminated that doubt. And then you're going to train the way you're supposed to train. You're going to eat the way you're supposed to eat. You're going to rest the way you're supposed to rest. And like Daniel said, after it's all said and done, whatever the place is, whatever place you get, you can damage control then. You can work on ego control at that point. But up until that point, it's give everything you got. Don't leave nothing on the table, because afterwards, what tend to happen is like, I had a little bit more. I don't know why I didn't give it. So don't leave that room for error. Number 2, protein intake. Very critical with the protein intake. So make sure you're getting the adequate amount of protein intake in your body, because it's going to come in hand. It's going to come in hand. It's going to come handy. It's going to come handy. It's going to come handy when it's time to rebuild that muscle you just kind of broke down. Absolutely. It needs the protein synthesis to happen. All right, so you need the proper protein intake.
Right, and with new emerging evidence that's coming out, protein is starting to look more and more and more like the most important macronutrient. And I mean, that's going to go across for a lot of different things. The thermic effect, it doesn't. Anyway, we can get into research stuff. We're going
to get into that. We're going to get to the supplement and the science stuff of this next week. This is the beauty about having this guy. All right? This is the beauty about chatting with this guy. And the third thing, regardless of what Daniel might say, regardless of what I co-sign, regardless of what I might say, your coach has the last decision on it. You know what I mean? If your coach, ultimately, your coach has a set protocol that he or she is going to take you through.
And you're paying them for
right.
it.
And whatever that set protocol is, don't deviate off of it. Because a slight deviation off that set protocol can throw everything off.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Regardless of whether
during prep.
Right, especially during prep. So regardless of what you might hear from 1,000 other people, listen to your coach. They have a set program. They have a set protocol. That's what you should be following. And so with that, we got our top 3 things from my man Daniel. ATP, check this out. Next week, we get to talk supplements.
Everybody's favorite part of it, dude. Supplements.
Supplements.
They always ask, which supplement can I take? Which one can I take to do this? Well, eat diet, food, and train. No. I said supplements.
Yeah, right.
I only talk about supplements.
I'm not talking about food. We're talking about supplements.
Yeah.
So next week, supplements. We're going to chat supplements next week.
Yep.
All right. Be easy.
Later, guys.